Link TV, connecting you to the world. Link TV is viewer supported. Watch more at linktv.org.
Today on Earth Focus, the world's green Oscars. Meet the international winners of the 2010 Ashden Awards, pioneers in renewable energy from the developing world. Coming up on Earth Focus. Britain's Ashden Awards help support innovative, sustainable energy projects. Since 2001, there have been over 140 winners across the UK and the developing world. Every year in June, at a ceremony in London, Ashden winners get a cash prize, £140,000 for this year's Energy Pioneers. But that's just the start. Winners also benefit from a long-term partnership with Ashden for business development, including mentoring, technical support, and training. Britain's Ashden Awards champion practical local energy solutions that cut carbon, protect the environment, reduce poverty, and improve people's lives. This year's winners are outstanding examples of that. They were recognized for their innovation in solar energy, biogas technology, and hydropower. Here's a look.
Around the world, 1.5 billion people do not have access to mains electricity. In India alone, over 500 million live in near darkness. In rural India, when the sun goes down, they're forced to rely on kerosene lamps or candles. These are expensive, produce toxic fumes, and are dangerous. Now, thanks to D-Light, affordable solar lighting is changing people's lives, both at home and at work.
People have gone from needing to stop work at 6:30 when the sun goes down to enabling working throughout the evening.
D-Light's efficient LED lights means they only need small solar panels to take advantage of India's plentiful sunshine. D-Light has designed and built a range of products from the cheap basic model with built-in solar cell, which costs as little as $10, to this more sophisticated version, which also contains a phone charger.
I put this up in the morning to charge it and take it off after 8 hours. I can see much more clearly with this light. The kerosene lamp is just not bright enough.
Our products have touched 1 million lives to date around the world. Our goal is 100 million lives by 2017, and so we're hopefully on the right track to achieve that.
Over 200,000 D-Light lanterns have been sold, touching the lives of 1 million people around the world. Each year, these lanterns save 18 million litres of kerosene and 44,000 tonnes of carbon dioxide. D-Light continues to grow, bringing light and power to those who need it most. Their lights help improve the education, income and health of their users and their families. And they have significant environmental benefits too. But they can also just be used to enjoy a spot of India's favourite pastime, cricket. SNV, a Dutch development organisation, joined forces with Vietnam's Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to bring biogas plants to rural areas. This allows farmers like Dong to turn unhealthy waste into a valuable resource.
The farmer feeds the biodigester every day when he's cleaning the manure. In the digester itself, an anaerobic fermentation process starts, which is a bit the same as in your own stomach, in which the same processes happen. Also there gas is produced, and the biogas is led via a piping system to the kitchen.
And the household toilet is connected as well.
All this is washed away to the underground tank to keep the environment hygienic.
Having a biogas system saves women nearly 2 hours a day. But Tuan doesn't have one yet, so she still has to do things the hard way.
When I can, I do this to get fuel for cooking. We may spend the whole Sunday collecting.
Smoke from cooking fires is a global health problem, thought to cause over 1.5 million premature deaths each year. The joint programme run by SNV and the Ministry of Agriculture trains masons, promotes and markets the benefits of biogas in the countryside and provides a small subsidy for installation. The aim of SNV and the Vietnamese government was to create a national market for biogas plants strong enough to thrive even after their joint programme finished.
The masons also receive from the program business training, and some of those masons are very successful, so they can even construct outside of the program.
By the end of 2009, over 78,000 biogas plants had been built within the government programme. Nearly 400,000 people have benefited, saving 167,000 tonnes of CO2 each year. And the masons construct many plants for private customers outside the programme too. The construction of all these biogas systems has created thousands of jobs in rural Vietnam. People who live in towns and cities in Uganda and many other African countries have some access to grid electricity to light their homes and power their businesses. But many rural people aren't connected at all. But simply waiting for the grid to arrive isn't good enough for entrepreneurs like Moses Akera. He recognises there's a good business to be made harnessing the power of the sun.
I really prefer solar to be used in the community like this because it remains the property of the client. You don't pay bills and you don't buy fuel like somebody using generator.
So solar energy is the best option for many rural Ugandans. But being new to the industry, many solar retailers like Moses were struggling to make their businesses a success. So the Rural Energy Foundation, a not-for-profit organisation, introduced the Solar Now programme in 2007. Its aim, to spread the benefits of electricity throughout rural Africa by providing training and support to existing solar retailers like Moses. And they encourage other retailers and entrepreneurs to start selling solar equipment from scratch.
Most of these retailers need to be supported in terms of training so that they can be able to run their businesses better. They also need support in terms of market awareness because so many people out here in the field do not know about solar, so we need to come and enlighten them.
The Rural Energy Foundation has trained over 200 retailers in 9 African countries. So far, they've sold 57,000 solar home systems and 36,000 solar lanterns. They've helped at least 400,000 people, saved nearly 5 million litres of kerosene and 12,000 tonnes of CO2 each year. The Rural Energy Foundation plans to expand into other African countries and broaden its range of sustainable technologies. Solar panels are now becoming a common sight here on homes, and shops buy them as well to run radios and offer phone charging, increasing their income and enabling people to communicate. For decades, much of rural Brazil had to cope with a poor supply of electricity. So people in the state of Rio Grande do Sul formed Creluz, a cooperative dedicated to providing reliable electricity for all who needed it. Creluz started by buying electricity from the national supplier to sell to its members. But this wasn't reliable enough, so in 1999, the members decided to invest Creluz's profits into their own sustainable power generation, small-scale hydroelectric power.
From the beginning, the cooperative chose a program, a planned action to use the local resources in various rivers, without flooding, without displacements, with no harm to the environment.
The height of the dam can be adjusted to control the flow to the hydro plant and prevent the river from running dry or flooding.
The consumers are members of the cooperative. Some regions were abandoned, they didn't have electricity or light. So Creluz was born out of the needs of the small farmers, small business and small industries. The cooperative created a social program where it surplus funding the cost of power supply delivery, installing the network, the poles, the meter boxes for poorer consumers.
Milk producers Andre Kronbauer and his wife Cristela couldn't run their farm without Crelus's help.
Their help is the free network we have. We only pay a token fee, so we have power almost for free.
By the end of 2009, the cooperative was operating 6 mini hydro plants with a total capacity of 4 megawatts. Each year, they can generate 17 gigawatt hours. That's just over a quarter of the electricity demand for 80,000 people. The cooperative has even bigger plans for the future.
We want to continue doing local power generation, decentralized with low environment impact to achieve self-sufficiency.
And self-sufficiency may be just around the corner. A survey team has found sites for 2 larger hydro plants, which Crelus will develop jointly with other cooperatives. Eventually, all of Crelus's electricity will come from its own sustainable power plants. In Nicaragua, one of the poorest countries in the Americas, 75% of the rural population are off the grid, living without electricity. In rural towns, miles from the nearest state power lines, when the sun goes down, candles and kerosene lanterns are the only source of light. For Carmen Maria, a few candles light her kitchen.
I use a candlelight so that I have light to make the dinner. And the problem that this causes is that they can suddenly go out and this can cause us to injure ourselves. Another problem is that sometimes the children touch the flames and they can burn themselves.
In what seems like a world away, the capital Managua, one man set up a business in 1998 which brings solar power to the most remote corners of Nicaragua. Vladimir Delagnew is president of Technosol.
We take electricity to rural areas. We are concentrating on the poorest houses that don't have electricity. We are providing electricity by using renewable sources. We are making use of the Earth's most abundant resource, the sun.
The satellite dish and solar panel-laden rooftops of the remote town of El Hobo are testament to the impact of Technosol. The company, which sells, installs and maintains solar PV, has grown rapidly and has 17 rural branches which, along with local agents, allow it to cover the whole of Nicaragua. And now it is expanding into neighbouring El Salvador and Honduras too. By the end of 2009, they had sold 40,000 solar systems, benefiting nearly 250,000 people. This saves 11 million litres of kerosene a year, reducing their customers' CO2 emissions by 26,000 tonnes.
We are making a positive impact on the environment and a big social impact too.
Africa loses more than 4 million hectares of forest every year. Important habitats are being destroyed. Most people here in Kenya either cut down trees for cooking or consume even more wood when they buy charcoal. And yet more trees are cut down to clear land for agriculture.
A lot of deforestation has been done. You can see there are no trees around here right now. And it's because people rely on firewood. They don't have any other alternative. They have to come on every now and then, every other day, to come and fetch firewood to do their cooking.
But Samuel Kinote recognized that an alternative source of fuel is already widely available. Many households and institutions in Kenya keep cattle. And cattle dung can be used to produce methane, ideal for cooking. Samuel founded his company Skylink Innovators in 2007 to design and build biogas digesters. The plants are fed with cattle dung, which is mixed with water and filtered before being released into underground chambers where it decomposes, producing methane. The gas is then piped into kitchens. This centre for orphans and disabled children has been using biogas for over a year.
Now that we have biogas, we are able to save on our trees. We are not buying the fuel, and even the trees that we planted, we are able to save them.
The residue left after the manure has decomposed is rich in nutrients.
We are able to use it as fertilizer, and we are also saving because before we used to buy fertilizer from the local market. It's an added benefit because we are able to produce our own vegetables.
Skylink innovators have installed over 200 biogas systems. They've helped 5,000 people save about 800 tonnes of wood a year, reducing their CO2 emissions by over 1,000 tonnes a year. Skylink are growing rapidly and are working hard to raise public awareness about the benefits of biogas.
We don't need to cut trees anymore. So we will leave the trees aside, we will have an alternative source of fuel, and then at least we will have taken care of the environment.
Link TV is the only U.S. network dedicated to global and national news, uncompromising documentaries, and diverse cultural programs. Programs which connect you to the world. To learn more, visit linktv.org.